Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Williams. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Williams. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Williams, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. I am just happy. I am just very happy to be with you guys right now. But you know what? In as much as I am very happy, I am very sad. I am very sad. Lupita, how are you doing today, Lupita?
I'm doing good. I'm happy that it's finally warming up outside. I know people don't like the hot, but I do.
You know what? I am from Panama. I love the hot. I love the heat. But it's not as
humid, right?
No, well, you know, Panama is kind of humid too. But you know what, man? Somehow the hot in Houston feels hotter than the hot in Panama. I don't know why, but it does. But, you know, we are going to have a great show, Lupita. But you know what? I got up early this morning. You know, I had to go do my exercise and all that kind of stuff earlier than normal because I had to go support William Bill McLeod, this judge in Texas Circuit, I guess Civil Court number 4. And you know, it turns out that, and folks, listen to this, all my people all over the country, I want you to listen to this because this can happen to anybody. Anyhow, this guy, he went ahead, the judge, he ran a ground game. He got elected to being a judge, and his docket, he cleaned it up. He really did in 2 months what the person he replaced couldn't have done. It didn't do in 2 years, you know.
Wow.
And then he said, you know what? I want to do this for the entire state. So I may consider running for the Supreme Court. So he started talking about that, and he put that on his website, not realizing that the Texas Supreme Court, the Constitution of Texas says that if you apply for a job, if you decide you're going to run for another judgeship or something like that, I don't know the words exactly, that you're automatically resigning your position. So as soon as one of his friends told him that, he went ahead and withdrew anything that said that he would be running.
Was it too late? Or
well, according to the attorney, the county attorney went to his office and told him what happened and told him he's going to have to resign.
No.
Yes. And then he said, well, there are other recourses. And by gosh, he's right. If you read the Constitution says that the commissioner's court have a right to just not do anything, given that he decided not to run after all, so they can just not do anything. Well, this guy actually amassed a whole lot of votes. And folks, if you're listening, whatever part of the country, this is an important story. I'm going to get into it in a little bit more detail. But this guy amassed all these goodwill. He got all these votes. And you know what? In as much as he got that, they still wanted to do that. So what happened is that this morning they told us, come on to Commissioner's Court. Let's put in a word for good old William Bill McLeod. So a lot of activists, a lot of community people, a lot of church, a lot of folks just showed up to make sure and support him. Do you know what that court did?
What did they do?
Those 5 commissioners went from item to agenda item to agenda item, knowing that there are a whole lot of folks there. There are over 40 people that wanted to stand up and speak for this man.
Wow, it seems like he has a lot of support.
He has a complete support from the community. You know, and not only that, they voted for him by more than 140-something thousand votes.
Wow, it's crazy.
All right, but it's all about politics. It's all about politics. So what I want to make this show about, folks, today, the show is titled Our democracy is sliding away. We must shore it up. And let me first tell you guys, I want you guys to call in because I didn't really prepare a show completely because I was over at the court, not at the commissioner's court from 9 this morning until I drove over here and saw Lupita doing the show with Juan. So I've been here and then I got here and I started saying, I know what the show is about today because today we're going to talk about another subject. But I said, you know what? We have to start talking about our democracy because it is flying away. And we have to make sure and keep this democracy for your generation, Lupita.
This just proves that you don't only just come here and do the show, but you're out there and you're involved.
We have to be. We have to be, my friend. We have to be. But so, I mean, so folks, that is what it's all about. The telephone number is 713-526-5738. And Juan told me to tell you guys that we are our transmitter is I think they're doing some repairs. You know the big storms that came through Houston? Our 100,000 watt transmitter, Bob is over there working on it to make sure that he can get all the kinks out of it. So if we come over with a little bit of static, it won't be long. If we drop out every now and then, do remember that we are also broadcasting on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, on Twitch, and on Periscope Live. So we are all there. We're all there, all over the place. Phones are on.
Yeah, and you can even go, like Juan said, to the archive.
Yes.
archive.kpat.org to listen to the show.
Yeah, phone's ringing. But anyhow, guess what, folks? So please don't you forget that if we drop out for a little bit, we are here for you on all these other avenues because we are going to make sure to come. And you know what? They just sped up the internet here, so we should be streaming cleanly over Facebook, YouTube, and all of that because our great people out here really did a great job. Now, since I tell you what, today is going to be a little bit non-standard, folks. Before I go into the banter between myself and Lupita, I'm going to take the call because, like I said, it's a little bit erratic today because, like, I just ran in here from Commissioner's Court, but I have to give you guys the show you deserve because this is your show. So let me talk to Rudy and give us a call, 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. Rudy, how are you doing, my friend?
Well, very, very well. How are you?
I am doing fine, sir. I am doing fine. Talk to me, sir.
Listen, all right. Now I know you've got some different topics.
Yes.
What? Let me ask you right now.
Yes.
Donald Trump
Mm-hmm.
trying to block the Mueller report.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take?
All right. First of all, let me be very frank with you, my friend. I think Donald Trump, personally, this is my personal opinion. I do not speak for the station. I personally think Donald Trump is a traitor. I know Donald Trump is a liar. I know Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. I know all of that is true. Okay.
Right.
Now, do I want to spend a lot of time on that, Rudy? I let me tell you how I look at it, Rudy. I say, okay, so let's say the Mueller report comes out and said that he colluded and all these other things. The plutocracy will not allow Donald Trump to be impeached. He has been too good to them. Donald Trump ran on a progressive, he ran claiming to some people that he was progressive enough to give them health care. He was progressive enough to give them back their jobs. He was progressive enough to give them all these things. He lied to them to their face, and when he got into office, he made sure that he supported the plutocracy. He made sure to allow the coal to be back into the streams with the mercury. He allowed the benzene that is hitting us up here in Cancer Alley here in Pasadena and Baytown and these other places. He's allowed all of that. That is what, in my humble opinion, sir, is important. That he has colluded with Russia and all of that. So we find out that's true. The fact that he's not going to get impeached, should we not be working on something else? And I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Well, my thought is that I'm looking for an alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Egberto, what I told you back, and now you can go back if you have, depending on your memory.
Right.
I said we need a guy like Donald Trump because what he does is it's the equivalent to turning the light on in the kitchen
and you see the roaches
at midnight and seeing the roaches. They all came out.
Lupita laughed at that one.
I've never heard that analogy before.
Listen, I grew up in Chicago. When you turn the lights on at midnight, if you live in an apartment building,
yes,
the roaches, if they're there, they're scattered.
Right.
And what Donald has done is he's created a dynamic of a dialogue in our country that we wouldn't have had otherwise. We would have kept sweeping it under the rug. But when he came out, all of his minions and all of the people that appeal to white supremacy, all that stuff, they came out of the woodwork. And they stood proudly for us to take pictures. And so now we have that intelligence. And now the country is enlightened. This is my opinion.
Right. So far, I'm agreeing with you, Rudy.
Fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you.
Fool me
but
twice.
There's no way he gets to fool the country twice. There's no way.
Right. Let me tell you, right now he's on the path to re-election. I hate to tell you that, Rudy. Right now, Donald Trump is on the path to re-election. And even the story that I'm talking about today is one of the reasons why. Are you here in Houston, Rudy?
I'm in town now, yes.
Okay, let me tell you why. I don't. Did you hear the story that I prefaced the show with today with William Bill McLeod, who's a judge who was active on the ground, brought a whole lot of people into the fold. Did you hear that story at all?
No, I saw the Facebook plug come through on my downline and on my iPad, and let me call his brother.
Okay, no problem. Look, hey, let me tell you what is very important here, and I want you to listen to this one good for me, Rudy, and it goes as follows. Right now, we are doing everything that is necessary to lose because we're not taking care of our people. Okay, we are not ensuring that people realize there is a reason to make that switch. I look at what is. I don't know what the outcome is of this judge yet, but based on the individual talks I've had just today with a couple of the commissioners, and the fact that one couldn't look me in the eye, and the other one was kind of non-committal, tells me that it doesn't look very well for this guy holding on to his judgeship, even though the people want him in that position because other people want to play games, political games with that position. So here's what I'm saying. If we take a look at all the things going on right now, what is a big thing that you hear? And folks, the telephone number is 713-526-5738. This is a pre-show. Rudy started the pre-show. We haven't started the full show. Rudy started the pre-show. Okay, but here we go, Rudy. We know what the people want. We know what the people want. They want Medicare for all. Democrats are now on the campaign trail. Biden is calling left Democrats that are progressive socialists. Biden, 2 days ago, called those on the left socialist. Joe Biden did.
First of all, listen. You should be focused on Andrew Yang.
Yes, I like Andrew Yang.
I like Andrew, man.
Yes, I do too.
I'm an independent. You know, I'm an independent.
Yes.
Biden is old, and listen, this guy was making a fool out of himself going back to the 90s.
Right.
Every chance he gets, he cuts his own throat. So,
but you remember what I said? Remember how I premised this statement? I said, and folks, telephone number 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. How I premised this. I said Democrats are setting themselves up to have Trump win again. And why am I saying that? Yeah. Here is the deal. The fact that everybody is concentrating on Biden being a front runner, even though Bernie Sanders is currently the front runner. That Biden is a front runner, and the media is pumping Biden on us. Biden is going out there calling folks socialists. Biden is out there stating that, I will not apologize for any woman who think I have invaded her space. Okay?
Right,
all
right.
these types of issues are telling me that they just don't get it. They just don't. First of all, they don't realize that the new voter are the millennials. So
Right.
if he doesn't get it, tough. I know I listen to my millennials, brother. Because you get what I'm
Now
saying?
here's the question. Here's
Yes.
the question, though. Will they vote?
Yes.
You know,
No,
that's
they will.
it. And
They will vote. If there's a yang, they will vote. If there is a...
I think, and listen, Buttigieg,
yeah, but he's a good guy, too. I like him.
I like him, but there's a but.
Yes, let me hear the but.
The but is that he doesn't have, I think, the it factor that this guy Andrew Yang has, and I think that what's going to happen here is either he or I don't think anybody else has a shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you, I think, believe it or not, you're going to laugh at this, but I think of all the old people, Bernie has a chance of beating Donald Trump. And I'm still a Berniac, but I'm
telling you,
yeah.
in a general, listen,
Yeah.
I tell you this, I think Bernie could probably eke out.
Yes,
If
I
he
think
pushed
so.
hard
Yes.
the Democratic primary.
Yes.
But there's no way this side of hell he wins a general election. There's just no way. And the reason why, let me tell you, the reason why I say that is because he's so extremely.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see his tax returns. Let me tell you, he said he was going to release his tax returns. I want to see his.
Okay, I do too.
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I want to see Donald's. I want to be able to comparatively analyze
them, sure.
them. But I don't think I'm saying in a general election.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Berto, think about it, man. We're talking the key states,
Right.
where there is electoral college votes in play.
Let me tell you what I'm thinking, Rudy, and then I'm gonna have to go to another call. But let me tell you what I think, Rudy.
All right.
I want you to hear me out here. What I'm really thinking is this: I think the country's fed up, and they're trying a whole lot of things, seeing what would stick. In other words, they tried going crazy with Trump. I think they'll go crazy another time. I honestly think. Well, I don't consider Bernie crazy, but what I'm thinking is a lot of people who consider him crazy. I think the population is really.
No, I think no.
Yeah.
Everything he's talking about. Listen,
Yeah.
and before you have to go.
Yeah.
But for the record, everything Bernie is saying, there's nothing socialistic about it.
Right.
He was just dumb enough to allow himself to be branded.
I like the way you say that. We'll talk about that another time. Call into my show tomorrow, because you always have a whole lot to offer. Thank you, my brother.
All right, take care, man.
Take care now. Okay, let's go to Samuel. Samuel, come on in.
Hey, Alberto.
Talk to me.
It's been a while. So, yeah, I think it's really interesting to see all of the people announcing that they're running 2020. What I would like to see is a more unified effort, and I'm sure you agree with this. I would like to see a more unified effort to run, but I do think at the same time that if there's such division even within the Democratic Party that, you know what, maybe there should be another party, and maybe we should just get rid of this whole dichotomy, this whole stupid two-party system, which continues to baffle me, why people still feed that energy and power. But I think, honestly, what we're seeing is the crumbling infrastructure of the status quo, and the fact that in this life nothing changes in certain people, but that change is, one of nature's constants that it's really important to keep in mind. This country needs to go through a shift. And I totally agree with Rudy. I think that Donald Trump was very timely for this country to sort of wake up and realize that there was a lot of darkness and very hidden crevices. But just wanted to leave it on that note.
Well, Samuel, first of all, let me first tell you that I don't see how you have not disagreed with anything that Rudy have said or anything that I believe in, and the idea. Now, I have a question for you, because by God, if I could figure a successful way to get a third party. And if I say third party, but what I really mean is a real progressive party that really stands by values, I would be in right away. It's how do you propose us getting there? Because I'll be honest with you, I've racked my brains, and what I've been preaching for a long time is change from within. In other words, one of the things that we don't like to do is we don't like to participate on the precinct level. We don't like to go to all those other meetings where all the establishment Democrats control everything, right? My contention is if more of us went out there as activists, as real progressive activists, that we could actually change, we could actually take over that infrastructure, as opposed to having that infrastructure, as opposed to yielding to that infrastructure. I thought we could take it over, but I'm all ears to see if you have other ideas.
I mean, I don't really believe in, just analytically from a historical point of view, I don't really believe in taking anything over. I mean, deep down, I'm a very apolitical, pretty anarchistic person. I think the state is naturally pretty oppressive over time, no matter who's given power. But I do think that there needs to be a frank dialogue. People do need to take more action. We do need to be more engaged, and that is the problem, is that we're too reluctant with a lot of things, like the environment, like societal norms, like religion. I'm personally going to school for sustainability, so I'm definitely quite concerned as a fellow Houstonian about the environment. I'm concerned about a lot of the direction humanity is going in. And honestly, if I'm to be completely frank, I think AI should be replacing government because humans are very imperfect creatures. And we're incapable of problem solving as long as we cling to our polar opposites and cling to this ideal and that. It's just nonsense.
Well, good for you. Anything else you want to add, my friend? I concur. I don't think I agree with you on the AI, though. I am a software developer, and I know I've written software that has a lot of bugs in it. And if I put a little bug into an AI thing and that AI decided that I don't put controls in that AI, and the AI decided it wants to be human, that may be a problem.
Well, not necessarily human, but just having a different system rather than the current system.
Well, look, I agree with you, but I think a better system, a better human system would work fine. But hey, what do I know? But look, thank you so kindly for calling, Samuel. Anything else you want to add before I go to Johnny?
That's it, brother. I just want people to be more open-minded about the changes that are inevitable, because that's one of the only things that are guaranteed is everything's in constant change. So we need to stop clinging to the status quo.
Thank you so kindly for calling, Samuel. Folks, you have a wonderful day, my friend. Folks, we have quite a few empty lines, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. You call now, you can get in right away. Johnny, come on in, Johnny. How are you doing today?
Yeah, the analogy for me, the roach analogy, doesn't work too well because roaches, if you know you got them, when you turn the lights on, they scatter.
Right.
So you got to put spray down to kill them when they come out when you're not home or when you're asleep. So what's the equivalent for us with these Republicans? You got to keep a clean house, especially if you live in an apartment with other apartments nearby. And how does that translate to your life? Your kids, you provide them a good, solid education. You monitor their media intake. You provide lots of outdoor opportunities, healthy outdoor opportunities that kids naturally like, not this artificial virtual world stuff because it makes them unhealthy, makes them less rigorous in their academic studies, and that makes them vulnerable to poor media and lying, cheating, stealing Republicans.
Right. I hear you. So what's your take?
My take on what?
What is your take on what Samuel had to say, your take on what Rudy had to say?
I don't like the analogy. We're not roaches. We're dealing with Republicans. As much as I would like to be going to the extermination business, that would raise holy hell, and that would give them the excuse they want to have a civil war.
Right. We don't want that.
You don't fight fire with fire necessarily. No. But that doesn't mean you turn the other cheek either.
Right. I strongly...
You have to be smart enough to know when to turn the other cheek and when to stand up.
You've got that right. Folks, the telephone number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. What do you want me to add to the subject? I have a lot more to talk about democracy, but I much rather hear from you. As you know, I came into the studio today directly from Commissioner's Court, quite upset with our democracy, stuff that I want to talk about. just about all lines are open. 713-526-5738. Shane, I'm coming to you next. Johnny, so what else is up, sir? Anything else?
Before I hang up, you're upset? You're upset?
Yes.
We're all upset. We're on a boat, and the Republicans are drilling holes in the hull.
Yes.
They're suicidal. They're suicidal.
Well,
Homicidal.
All right, brother. Thank you for calling in. Johnny, thank you for listening. You know, we love you, man. You have a great day, brother.
By the way, Pelosi needs to step down, and let's put someone in there that's a solid citizen with good, solid progressive values. Stacey Abrams would be an excellent candidate
Love her
to
too.
fill in that slot instead of Pelosi. And Pelosi could go on being a senator and concentrate on behind the scenes making amends for all her past sins.
Thank you, my brother. You have a great day, okay?
Do what you can to make that happen. If
do.
you do that, I'll be your personal servant for life.
No, I don't believe in servants. You'll be my personal friend for life. Well, you already are that. You have a great day, my brother.
Adios.
Adios.
Amigos.
All right. Okay, folks, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. We still have open lines. And Shane, how are you doing today? Joe, you are up next. How you doing, Shane?
Hi, I'm actually doing pretty good. How are you, sir?
Talk to me, my brother.
Basically, I kind of wanted to push back a little bit from, I had heard you say that you really like Pete Buttigieg, and I don't actually understand why, considering the fact that he's not really for anything. He just doesn't seem to have any sustenance to me. I'm just wondering, maybe you have different information than I have?
Yeah, I probably do. Well, the last few interviews that I watched him on, I thought, first of all, I understand that he's not the type of progressive that Elizabeth Warren is or that Bernie Sanders is. We really don't know much about where Beto really stands at all, but I thought...
I don't think Beto knows where Beto stands, but yes.
Okay, well, but what I like is his command of the issues. I think he really understands the issues. He hasn't yet come out definitively and said something like, I want Medicare for all, but he understands that we have a healthcare problem that has to be solved. So, I mean, I really enjoyed listening to a 37-year-old man speak with that level of authority on several of these issues. I really did.
And while I definitely agree with that, I would also say that at this point we have so many candidates that are already in the race that if he refuses to basically take any actual position and wants to stay on the fence, then as far as I'm concerned, he's going to get pushed back to the back of the line.
And you're right, and he should.
And he'll be right next to all the other corporate Democrats that are running.
And he should. Sir, you're right. He should. It's the same. Look, I like Beto. I've interviewed Beto. But that's a feeling that I have about him right now. I specifically, hold one second, folks. We have open lines 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Look, I interviewed Beto. I like Beto. I think Beto is a good guy. All right, but Beto hasn't come down with positions. I specifically asked Beto if he supported Medicare for all. His answer was, I support anything that's going to give everybody coverage, and Medicare for all is also on my list. That's what
it's basically the same thing that the vast majority of everyone else is doing, which is platitudes and vagueness.
Right,
just,
but here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Yes, sir.
I will not, Shane, we're a lot of people are saying, Berto, we don't need to have litmus tests and all of that. I'm sorry. This election, I will have litmus tests.
I have one.
Yeah. What's your litmus test?
Mine is Medicare for all. In fact,
that's mine as well.
I actually went and over in the Jersey Village area,
right.
I volunteered for Beto. I was extremely excited when he was running against Cruz.
Right.
I knocked on so many doors, it was crazy. I did everything that I could. And then when I started to get all of the texts and emails and everything to join his campaign again, I told them no. And when they asked me why, I said because he does not support Medicare for all. And until he does that, then I have no reason to back him up, because what's the point?
Right.
As far as I know, he's just going to change his mind again. That's just not a candidate I'm willing to
And I'm with you, and I think everybody should take that stance. Beto Beto has been very good at changing. Beto became pretty progressive as he ran in Texas, realizing that was an empty space at that point in time, and it almost brought him Texas. We could have brought Texas for Beto had we had a bit more time. But I mean, hey,
agree as well, which also makes me wonder why it is that he decided to run for president instead of going against Cornyn, which, in my opinion, he had an actual chance of winning.
I agree with you. That I asked the same.
Mind, there's no way that he's going to win in 2020. It's not going to happen.
He's not even going to make it through the primary. You can put your money on that. He's not going to make it through the primary. And I think deep inside, he likely knows that he probably didn't want to be senator. And he knew that likely they were going to tap him for senator. He probably didn't want it. But thank you. Anything else you want to add, Shane?
No, sir. Thank you very much for all your time. And
Absolutely.
I appreciate your show. I listen, but I don't always call in.
Well, I appreciate that you called, my friend. You have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, folks, 713-526-5738. We still have open line, 713-526-5738. Lupita loves answering that phone and saying, hola, ¿cómo están? Right,
yeah,
Lupita?
I don't actually say it like that, but maybe I should start.
Oh, yeah, you should say, hola, ¿cómo están? Yo soy Lupita. Yo soy la dueña de Politics Done Right.
And then they'll just be like, can I just give you my name?
Okay, let's go to Joe, line number 1.
Okay,
Come on in,
you
Joe.
have a wonderful day.
Joe.
Thank you. Okay, folks, 713-526-5738.
Joe, take your
we
phone.
still have open line, 713-526-5738.
Okay.
Lupita loves answering.
Okay, Joe, line number 4.
Okay.
Okay,
I
think
didn't hear it.
you must have 2 lines, Joe. You must be on 2 lines. You were.
No, I don't know. Anyway.
Okay, line 3's ringing. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, I had a question about property taxes.
Yes, sir.
Because I live in the Heights,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen my taxes go from $500 to $6,000 in the span of 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also a school administrator.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that this new plan that they were floating was supposed to both lower our taxes and fund for the school. Where is that plan and what's happening with it?
Well, first of all, I think that's what I don't remember the bill number that they're talking about in Texas, right? In the state legislature right now. My answer to you is don't believe it. On a $200,000 home, it's only going to save you $200, okay? So on what you're paying, as far as your price of your price of the house, what is really happening is that your house must have really the price of your house has probably gone up substantially. For you to go from 500 to 6,000. I hate that policy. I think I believe in property taxes, but I don't believe in property taxes the way appreciation can get on a house and you price yourself out of a house. I think property taxes should be based on the value of the house at the time that it's purchased, with some sort of incrementalism that has nothing to do with speculative values. That's what I think. Otherwise, somebody can come into a neighborhood, speculate, and price all the people who live in that neighborhood out of it. And that is completely unfair. That is, in effect, undemocratic as well. So
that's what's been happening.
Exactly. And so I am not for that. Those are the things that we have to fight for in the legislature. We have to also fight for how comes you have to pay that property tax on your main asset, your home, on your car, but Bill Bezos also have $160 billion in asset, and when somebody like Elizabeth Warren says, well, we need to go ahead and start charging taxes on wealth, which your wealth is your home, somehow Bezos want to be abstract. I mean, he wants to be excluded from us taking his taxes from the wealth that he's accumulated on all these other people's back. Is there any fairness in that, Joe?
Of course not.
And that is what we need people to fight for. That is why we need people to work with those of us that are activists that are trying to tell that story and not believe when the mainstream media try to make it seem as if taxing someone's wealth is something so extraordinary when every middle-class American is doing it right now, and it's only the rich who get away with not having their wealth taxed.
I agree with that. And it just seems ridiculous to me that the only people that can afford to live in my neighborhood now are going to be the very wealthy, because the home prices start at $500,000 and go up from there.
Right. And, we could actually solve that. Let me tell you another way to solve it, but they don't like it because it goes on income as well. We could have an income tax and get rid of the property tax. If we had an income tax, we would have a progressive tax, right? The more you make, the more you pay. The less you make, the less you pay. And you know why that is good? Because then everybody have skin in the game, but not only do you have skin in the game, but you're not priced out of any market.
Right. I don't see that happening in Texas. Though.
It won't happen because, again, people, and here's why it won't happen. Because the way they will spin it, they will spin income tax as a tax increase when it's only a tax increase on the very wealthy. Thank you very much for calling in, Joe. Anything else you want to add before we go? Okay, let's go to another Joe. Joe.
Everybody has skin in the game, but not only do you
Joe,
have
you
skin
have
in
to
the
turn
game,
your radio off, my friend.
I'm
going to put you on hold again and ask you to turn your radio.
Hello?
Yes, you got to turn the radio down, sir. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I'm on now?
Yes, you're on the air, Joe.
Yeah, you guys were talking about Trump.
Yes.
Yeah, my thought is here, it's like nobody's saying, do we really think this guy's going to just leave?
No, he's not going to leave.
That's what I'm saying. To come down to the end of the election, I think this guy's getting ready to set it off that if he loses, he's not going to give up that power.
Look, let me tell you this. That is a lot of the fear thing that's going around. I don't think there is any chance that if Trump really, really loses, that somehow he stays in that White House because he's so scared, or rather, because he's a dictator. That's not really going to happen. I think that's in my opinion, that is. I think that's a ruse, right? But that said, I do think that Donald Trump is on a path to winning the election again. I hate to say that, but what I see Democrats doing, I don't see, put it this way, the people that could win, the people that have policies that Americans are really yearning for, are the people that the media is attempting to ridicule. And the one person that is so I mean, I don't think we have to worry about if Donald Trump loses, he's not going to want to vacate the White House, because I think Donald Trump is on the path to winning. And he's on the path to winning because we continue. When I say we, I shouldn't say we, but because Democrats continue insanity. And what is insanity? Doing things the same way over and over again and expecting a different result. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, I just want to make 2 points. Okay, the first one on that. Okay, does anybody hear me say I got the military on my side? I have the bikers on my side. I have the police on my side.
No, I never heard anybody say that. But not because somebody says that, Joe, mean it's true.
I know, but what I'm saying is he's setting it up. He's setting it up for that to come to pass. That's all I'm just saying.
Right.
That's one thing.
Okay.
That's what I believe.
Sure.
I don't believe he's going to go peacefully. That's just what I believe.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, and one other thing. This thing about socialism.
Mm-hmm.
Why people keep talking about like just some scary thing? The fire department, socialism. Police, socialism. Military, socialism. Social security. We got all this socialism. We live in a mixed economy anyway, so folks shouldn't run from it. Just let people know, man, we already got some things socialism.
Brother.
One time, the fire department wasn't social. We didn't have, where everybody just paid and the fire department came out and put the fire in your house.
You know what?
We have that now.
No, Joe, you're right. And if you listen to my show 2 shows again, my phrase was lean in.
Lean in, brother.
Okay, if you heard my show, I already spoke about that, lean in. But what I also tell people
I missed it, but yeah.
Yeah, lean in. Just lean in. But the other thing that I tell people is, don't even bother. You don't have to go out and say, hey, I'm a socialist. I'm a democratic socialist. Tell people what you're going to do for them. You and I know what they're going to do, what you're planning to do for them is what they want. And let the Republicans call what they want socialism, because in effect the Republicans would be saying, Americans, you're all socialists. So I said, let it play out.
Exactly. You call me social, whatever. I have Medicare for all. You call it whatever you want to.
Thank you so kindly for calling, Joe. You have a wonderful day, sir.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, come on in. John, line number 3.
Hey, Berto.
Talk to me, sir.
Hey, bud. I hear you guys keep on talking about Trump. I'm sorry, but like it or not, I believe Trump will be reelected.
Okay, John, you just heard me say that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because he's gonna win. Doesn't matter if you and I both know. Even though he may lose big time on popular vote, he's gonna win big on the electoral vote.
Let me tell you, my fear is exactly that. But here's the thing: it doesn't have to be that way. The reason I'm talking this way is that all things being equal today, I think that would be true. Now, I think there are things that we can do to mitigate that fallacy. Okay, I mean not that fallacy, that reality. And one of the reasons I'm continuously telling people, look, this man could win. This man could win. This man is on a winning track right now. Is exactly for that reason. Exactly for that reason. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. And y'all talk about the extra parties. Listen, fact is, both parties are afraid to have extra parties, which got to take the votes from the party. So I don't think neither one's gonna try.
Like I tell all my third party people, and I would love to see a third party because I honestly do not believe these two things are representative of of all our values. I am a progressive. I trust that you are a progressive, or maybe not, but let's say you were. What party represents you? I'm
a moderate Republican.
You're a moderate Republican, so your party doesn't represent you either.
Well, that's a good point because I was going to talk about I'm mad at both parties because they dropped the ball on the minimum wage.
Yeah, your party does not represent you. I mean, I feel sorry. Look, I live amongst Republicans, good people. Okay, their party don't represent them. Their party don't represent them. Look, I am a left-wing progressive kind of a guy. Those are the policies I believe in. I'm willing to fight you. When I say fight, I mean, nice, good fight with you, John, on my policies, and you tell me your policies, and we do something. But we are not in those positions right now.
And I got a question to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Is it me, or does it seem like ever since I've gotten into a deal, every time Democrats get in, they want to increase the income tax and the federal tax, and then every time Republicans get in, it seems like to me the sales and property tax goes up.
Yes,
either way, taxes goes up.
You know what? Republicans are not really anti-tax. Republicans are not really anti-spend. They just want to spend on different things. That's all.
Exactly.
That's it. No difference. Thank you so kindly for calling, John. You keep listening and share this stuff if you're watching on Facebook because, I talk to the choir a lot. On Facebook, I also talk to the right. I want us to have a conversation, all of us, just like you and I can talk. We can have intelligent conversations. That's how we move a country forward, brother.
I agree.
You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Okay, let's go. Line numero 4. Come on in. Patrick?
Yeah, what's going on?
Talk to me, my brother.
So I truly believe, and you've touched on it before earlier, that there are some major points that are against the Democrats' favor and Trump's favor for winning again. The first being the Democrats are going to do exactly what they did with Hillary. They're going to suppress candidates like Bernie Sanders, and they're going to pick their champion.
Yes.
And they're going to be very weak on that champion. And the person they're going to end up picking is going to cower to Trump's attacks and not call him on his BS or provide proof of things he says he never did. But the main two things that are in Trump's favor is, and you touched on it, is the Electoral College. I will never understand how if I have 8 apples and you have 4 apples, your apples count more than mine because they came from different states.
Right.
And gerrymandering as well. Like, the Electoral College is an outdated system. And
unfortunately, Patrick, what we have to have is there are 2 ways around the Electoral College, and both of them are being worked on right now. One is constitutional, but getting a constitutional change now is next to impossible since it requires, I think, 3/4 of Congress, 3/4 of Senate, and I don't remember how many states to get a constitutional amendment to change that. The second thing is what's going on, which has a lot of promise. We just need to get enough states that equate to 280 electoral, what is it, 272 or whatever it is, electoral votes, and that these states promise to give those electoral votes to whoever has the popular vote. That is currently being worked on right now. And in fact, I think we're up to 16 states that add up to, I don't know, just under 200 electoral votes. Once we get to 270 something, you don't need a constitutional amendment to do that.
Well, I have a better solution.
Let me hear it.
Than the Electoral College and then the solution that you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that our voting system should be a ranked choice voting system.
I love that. I love the ranked voice. I mean that, and you're correct, because that would ensure that even in that state where the Electoral College, that there's a mismatch, the mere, I think if I recall the way the numbers work out, the Electoral College gets it'll still turn out fine, if I recall the math, but I don't quite remember.
Well, I love your show, and keep doing what you do.
Thank you so kindly, Patrick. You have a wonderful day, okay?
You too.
Take care now. All right, Alan and then MOD. Alan, come on in, Alan.
Hello there. How are you? I'm so glad I got in. I was just getting ready to walk in the store, so perfect timing.
Excellent. Talk to me, Alan.
First time I've heard your show. I typically not driving around this time of day, but I had to run an errand.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I heard you say something about to two callers ago, that the party does not represent their interests.
Right.
And I'm thinking my party does represent my interests, because I'm for a strong military.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for strong immigration laws.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for reduced government regulations and intervention in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm lucky. My party does represent my values.
And which part is that?
Well, do you even need to ask who wants?
Yeah, because I know you think you're a Republican, but that's not what your Republican Party represents today. And let me explain to you, if you don't mind. Maybe here we go. Number one, you said you want a party that is going to support the military. And you want a strong military. You don't have a strong military. You have an expensive military. What do I mean by that? You have a military where we are willing to pay defense contractors monies when they go to Iraq, so that every meal that soldier has is going to cost $50 or $80 or $40 or whatever. So what you have is a military that's pilfering your money, and you're a conservative. You don't believe in that. As a conservative, you want to use as least money in the public domain as possible. That is not what your party is doing. Not because your party wants a big, strong military means you want a big, strong military that you pay more than you deserve to pay for. You also said that you support regulation.
Let me stop you there.
Sure, go ahead.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm a fiscal conservative.
I know that. I could hear it.
So I agree with you 100% that I hate the waste. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so far we've already established the fact that your party is not representative of you. Let's go to the second point. The second point you said is
I'm not sure if we got there.
Okay, but we're close. We're close, brother. We're close. We're close. Second item is you said you don't believe in regulations, right? Yep. Well, you know what your party does? Your party believes in taking away regulations from companies like oil companies and all these. Like, get rid of the regulations. We are here in Texas, right? We just had big fires where benzene, where all these chemicals in Cancer Alley were released to kill your fellow brothers and sisters who down there as well are conservatives like you are.
Yeah,
so
but that was an accident.
No, but what I'm saying, that is the accident. But guess what? The other explosion that occurred a week later, that company has violations after violations after violations on regulations that you don't want, right? So I am absolutely sure.
Well, see,
let me finish.
Go ahead.
I know what you mean by you want little regulation, because I think the same kind of regulations you don't want is the same kind of regulations I don't want. I don't want to be regulated so that I can't establish a small company as long as I'm not harming you. But Alan, I am sure you don't want your fellow brothers and sisters to be harmed by cancer-causing chemicals. I'm sure you don't want your... So I'm saying...
Of course, I'm also an environmentalist.
I know that, but what I'm saying, Alan, is this. Neither one of the parties are representing either you or
I don't
me.
want to take up your whole show, but
Great.
You're right. We got more in common than not.
Thank you, my brother. You have a wonderful day, and we'll talk. You keep listening now. KPFT 90.1. And by the way, we're on Facebook as well, okay?
I'll do it.
Take care, brother. Bye-bye. All right, MOD, come on in, my brother.
Hello.
Talk to me, brother.
I'll go easy on AOC for you if you want me to.
You say that again?
I can go easy on AOC if you want me to.
Hold on, MOD. You're the. I want to tell people that the lines are open, folks. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. We have open lines, and I have MOD. And MOD, you can say whatever you want, sir. This is Politics Done Right. You have freedom. What you don't do on Politics Done Right is be a part of the misinformation campaign. That's all, brother. That's all.
Yeah,
Talk to me.
We agree with that. Then made me do it. So she did live in Brooklyn as of 2012.
Okay.
One of her father's units became her mailing address.
Okay.
And so when she did her photo op in Huffington Post, she arrived in her limousine behind the back of the units, went up and did her shot and left. Her neighbors and her landlord say someone or her sometimes every other week comes by and grabs her mail. Out of the 4 freshmen that were elected in the 2018 in that state, she's the only one that does not have an office. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to keep on going, but I want to say, she's using that address as her mailing address. That's it. I'm going to let that go. But you start your show, Alberto, with the simple fact. If we can see how there were 18, and then when there was 1 in 2016, the GOP candidates, remember that?
Yes.
And then we dial down, and then there's 1. And there's different, the Paul Piper thing that they said how the DNC did that one thing to get Trump there. And what I'm getting at, if you're right about which I believe you are, about the plutocracy. Why not do the same thing for the next 2020 election for the DNC 10 or 12 candidates? They'll go through them. They'll have discredit men. And then to your point, I mean, I said that in 2015. Watch, they're sizing the sky up. He's going to win, and I think the complacentness, the disgruntledness of the voting of the Democratic registered voters, and the way the media has a vested interest, as you called it, plutocracy, they'll give it to them, and it won't be much of a fight. It'd be another. Let's see. We see these surprises. The weekend before, the Friday before elections, presidential. They call them October surprises. We saw Benghazi. We saw that was an effort on Romney. We saw the Pizzagate on Hillary. What would it be? I mean, I don't have to guess. I'm just going to say, to your point, I can see what happened in 2016 happened to the DNC. I mean, to the Democratic Party in 2020.
I can see that. Look. I think you've heard me say that already, and
I'm talking about the details of how it's going to happen.
I don't. I can't read minds. All I can say, however, is that I don't think we're not engaging the people as we should. We're trying to manufacture a new candidate again that follows a few policies, and I think the reason we're trying to manufacture that candidate is that both parties are on the take with the plutocracy, and if you take a look at why there are certain particular candidates that don't support Medicare for all. The reason they don't is that Medicare for all really means the destruction of the private health insurance industry, which needs to be destroyed. That said, and the truth of the matter is they are there to protect them as well. Until we get honest as a country, as a people, to realize what we have to do for people, it'll never change. I have to go to another call.
All right, well, let's just say that's true, and until we turn off that portal,
yes, sir,
and start thinking for ourselves, you're right.
Thank you, brother.
Happen.
You have a wonderful day now. Bye-bye. All right, come on in, Shane.
Hello, Eduardo?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Thanks for taking my call. Just one quick comment.
Yes.
I believe that America's really, future really lies in the hands of the American media.
Right.
Until the media begins to hold itself accountable, like everybody is being held accountable in the news, until America starts holding the media accountable, I don't say what the standard should be, because the times with the social media and with the standard, media, it's difficult, probably. But what I'm saying is, you look at the situation now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the media taking that and moving on, what do? They keep hanging on and hanging on.
Right.
And guess what? They have the opportunity to ask all the ladies that bring in the charges against Biden, say, ma'am, if it was made you so uncomfortable, why didn't you let him know? So my point of it is, why aren't the media being held accountable for the questions they ask?
Let me tell you. First of all, I want to answer it this way, my brother. I want to say it this way. First of all, I want to put a plug in for KPFT. I want to put a plug in for Politics Done Right. And that is what we are here for. We do that, and not only do we do that, but having intelligent callers like we have here on Politics Done Right and other shows, that is exactly what we do. Where I slip up and not ask a right question, I can assure you that one of you, my great listeners, will remind me to do so. That is bi-directional journalism. Okay?
And I would hope that men and women of your standard would be deliberate about holding the others accountable.
Well, let me tell you, I'm running out of time, but I just want to tell you this because I know what you're going to say. Guys like me and Lupita and all of us that are doing this work here, we need to hold other people accountable. Let me tell you this, my brother. We can try. But what we have to do is we have to do and we have to replicate. And that's what we are trying to do. If you take a look at what I personally am doing with Politics Done Right, it's exactly that. Replication, bring other people into the fold, encourage others to do the same. And also to encourage people like you to keep talking. Because you, believe it or not, are much more important than Chuck Todd. Okay, because you are opening a lot of people's eyes. When you have this dialogue with me, when you have this dialogue with anybody else on air, that is what you're doing. Thank you so kindly, Shane, for calling. You have a wonderful day. Okay, folks, I'm not taking any more calls. Just a quick shout out here. Thank you guys for listening to Politics Done Right. We cannot do this without you at all. But I have a special ask right now. Please go to KPFT. We're not in fundraising time at all, but I want to do this because I know the urgency of what we're doing here and the things that we have to do. Please go to kpft.org and support this station. There's a lot happening. Our transmitter, they're back there repairing it right now. We have a whole lot, a tree fell on our air conditioner, but I was just told that it's working fine, but who knows? The tree fell on the damn air conditioner, man.
Maybe that's why it's really cold in here.
Yeah. There may be a little bit dysfunction right there. So folks, do remember that we need you. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you know how I end this, baby. I am out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.
1, 2, 3, 4.